Welcome back to another episode of Mindful Moments. I am your host, Jada Lowe, and I'm feeling good. I'm feeling good, living better. How are y'all doing? Y'all feeling good? Are we okay? From the last episode, are we okay? Did y'all check in? Did y'all get yourself together? Y'all good? How are y'all feeling? Y'all listening in the car, at the gym, at work, in class, wherever you're at? How y'all doing? Thank y'all for coming back for another episode. Let's get to it. So this topic, I'm not sure how it's going to make you guys feel, but I'm just here to talk and chat on the mic. So let's get to yapping. So this episode is titled Hear Me Out. Well, I sound like somebody preacher. Hear me out. Sometimes you need to quit. Oh, y'all don't cut me off this episode. Don't cut the volume up. Don't cut me off. Please. I promise you my heart is in the right place. I promise you. Okay? Sometimes you need to quit. I'm not saying be a quitter. I'm not saying to give up. Like once you just see stuff not working out to give up. That's not what this episode is about. I'm not saying quit. I'm saying when it comes to certain things, we have to gracefully step away. And so that's what I mean by hear me out. So we're going to get into it. Don't slaughter me. I got you. Okay. But yeah, so let's talk a little bit about quitting first. So like, I think when people hear quitting, it's like people think it's a sign of weakness. I feel like quitting just has an overall negative connotation to it. It's like, winners never quit, never stop, never back down, never be defeated. But it's like, what if you're about to be burned out? What if you're in an unhealthy situation or an unhealthy relationship? Like I'm talking like seriously. And you're telling that person to keep going even though it's causing them to die on the inside and it's causing them to lose their mental stability. That is what I mean. Like knowing when to bow out. That is what this is about. And sometimes quitting isn't only okay. Sometimes it's necessary. Sometimes it's necessary to just say, hey, it's necessary to throw them deuces up and chuck them deuces up and just be on your way. And so it's like, in what situations do we bow out? Do we say, I'm not doing this anymore? Because sometimes we can be so programmed to keep going, to keep pushing through, to keep showing up where it's like you can't do that in the areas that you should be applying it to as far as showing up and giving your best foot forward because you're in a situation that you should have actually quit a long time ago. That way you can better serve and be a better person to the aspects and relationships and the things that you actually should be doing. That is what I mean. I'm not saying you see something is hard and so you quit and give up. I'm not saying you got an assignment due and now you want to drop out of school. I'm not saying y'all had one disagreement, but this the love of your life. So it's like, I'm going to just give up. No, I'm saying if something is sacrificing your mental well-being, if something is sacrificing your overall well-being, it's time to do a little bit of assessing, baby. It's time to take some inventory of, okay, maybe like, do I really need to stay in this situation? And so like, why is it necessary to quit? First of all, let's talk about that good old big old brain, baby. Your mental health. Okay. Sometimes you have to quit because it's literally taking all of your mental bandwidth to stay in that situation. You're compromising yourself, you're hurting yourself, you're damaging yourself. And when you actually end up getting out of it or God forces you, let me tell you something. Sometimes I've found myself where God has forced me out of situations that I wasn't just in the space to willingly leave. And once I was out of it, I was like, dang, I could have saved myself a lot of trouble by just going ahead and listening to you and getting out of that situation, getting out of that predicament, getting out of overworking myself in that area. And it's just like, I should have listened. And when you're, and even too, like from the mental aspect of like recovering from what you quit. is a whole nother thing, because you can prolong the process of quitting or prolong the process of bowing out to where when you're recovering from it, you end up seeing, okay, this is going to take a lot of work, which is fine, but this is going to take a lot of work than it should have taken to bounce back from. And so it's like, whether it's a toxic job, unhealthy relationship, or even just a draining commitment, you you come first. You come first. You can't pour from an empty cup. You can't show up in a situation fully and that situation is already draining you. You think you're about to be able to give your full self to a situation and it's constantly draining you. That does not add up. First of all, you have nothing to give. First of all, you're about to pass out. First of all, you're drained. First of all, you're aggravated. First of all, you're frustrated. You see what I'm saying? First of all, you're pissed off constantly aggravated. Huh? And so it's like, but you're saying you're going to show up. You can't show up and serve in a place that's constantly breaking you down. Constantly. They collide, and not in a way that's beneficial for you. So you have to put yourself first. You have to put your mental first, because that takes a lot to show up in situations. It's not just about you physically showing up and being there. And when I'm saying like there, and when I'm speaking generally, apply it to, if it pertains to you, I'm saying that to, so it can apply to whatever it is, whether it's relationship, job, a commitment, whatever it is. But yes, you can't show up in a place that's constantly taking from you. You can't keep giving to things and situations and people that are constantly taking from you. You're going to end up in the negative, and it's not going to be beneficial. So yeah, you just have to gracefully say, hey, I'm going to put up my deuces, and I'm just going to, I'm not going to be back. Goodbye. Sayonara. Farewell. Goodbye. I quit. You're not giving up. You quit. And I think that's the thing too. Sometimes we equate quitting to giving up. I didn't give up. I'm just going somewhere that not that can slow down, Jada. Not only am I going somewhere that can better serve me, but I'm also going somewhere that I can better serve in. You see, it's like I feel like when we think of quitting, it's like an end all be all, and it's just the end result, and I give up and I can't do anything else. No, it's about realizing like, hey, this is sacrificing my well-being, and for one, this doesn't align with who I am, whether it's at all, whether it doesn't align with you at all, or whether it just doesn't align with you anymore. That is okay. Sometimes we try to stay in situations or even make commitments, and it doesn't even align with who we are or where we're going. Yes, it may have aligned at that time, but baby, this is a different time. You're a different person. And sometimes that frustration comes in when there's misalignment, especially in like commitments, like jobs and like business commitments and stuff. It's like, why is there this constant tension? And it's because that doesn't align with me anymore. And that is okay. There's somebody and sometimes you have to quit because there's somebody trying to get in. There's somebody who can actually show up better for the position or just the space or situation that you actually need to quit. So get out of their way, because you got somewhere you need to be and they have somewhere they need to be. It's all about like finding things and people too, that align with you and where you're going. And yes, there are situations and people where the alignment continues to take place in a way that you don't have to quit, or in a way that's like constantly not mutually beneficial, but it aligns for prolonged seasons, like like marriages and stuff like that. But get out them folks' way. Relationships, you should have been out that relationship. There's somebody better for him or her that's actually supposed to be with them, where they actually align, and y'all over here fussing. Bye. please. There's better for you, and they need to be better so they can be better for somebody else, and so they can get their better, and you need to go get your better. It's sometimes quitting, or sometimes not quitting, or trying to stay in a situation for so long prolongs the process of where you're actually supposed to be. But for the sake of your pride, and you not being able to put your pride aside, it's like, oh, I can't quit because I've been at this job for 20 years, and like, what would they think of me, and yada. We are in a whole 2024. We don't have time for that. You might as well lay yourself on the chopping block, because that's what you're doing, sacrificing yourself and giving yourself to a situation that no longer serves you, giving yourself to people that no longer serve you. And you know what we call that? What did you say, Pat? What did you say, Alex? We call that delusional. And I'm not speaking from a higher than that standpoint. I'm speaking that from like experience. There have been situations that I've been in where I overstayed my welcome. I shouldn't have been there that long. I shouldn't have been with them people that long. Now, granted, God had to force me. Like I said, He had to force me out of some situations. That's neither here nor there. But some things you get forced out of, and some things, like, I feel like the things that God had to force me out of, it helped me to learn how to quit the other things. That way I wouldn't have to be forced. I don't want God to have to constantly force me out of stuff. I want to be able to learn and to see, like, okay, this isn't serving me, and I don't think it aligns with where He's trying to take me. So I'm going to gracefully bow out, and I'm going to shift, I'm going to pivot, and I'm going to be prayerful about it and pivot. Let me also say this. Don't use quitting also on the flip side of it. Don't use quitting as an excuse. Sometimes we can be like, oh, this doesn't serve me, and I'm just going to quit. Like, when I say quit and gracefully bow out, I'm saying to assess the situation. Sometimes you don't need to assess it. Sometimes there are some things where you know it's bad for you, it's terrible for you, it's not for you, it doesn't align with you, it's sacrificing your mental health, and you about to burn out. But there are other things where it's like, granted, we may not necessarily need to quit or bow out. We may just need to be more diligent, more prayerful, and more intentional, and just be a better person for that. And because sometimes we can say, oh, this don't serve me no more, or they didn't do something that I agree with, or they didn't do something that I like, so I'm just gonna go. Like, you're trying to basically force your way, or get your way, or get things to always mold to how you do it without growing as a person. I'm not saying to quit like that, just quitting everything, or just finding small stuff, or just finding stuff in general when you find that you're faced with a little bit of conflict. That's not what I'm talking about. And I always want to make sure I clarify, to just give y'all a good understanding of what it is that I mean, and what it is that I'm saying. So yeah, just like prioritizing your mental health, and even just making sure that or just understanding that sometimes quitting or having to quit and bow out comes from just when things no longer align with you. And sometimes you have to quit in the sense of, like I said, not giving up, but just quitting when you feel like you're about to get burned out, baby. You've been at work for the past 5 years and haven't taken not nan vacation. And you over at that desk, at that cubicle, at that desk at the house, in your office, working remote, about to topple over. Go take a nap. You workaholic? Go take a nap. Go take a nap. But I wanna show them that I'm a good employee. Go take a nap. Say, look, I'm gonna have to quit for this week, and I need a nap. Burnout is real, and so many people are on the verge of it, and they don't even know it. Sometimes you have to quit, and God forbid you're at a job that don't allow you to take no break. You better find somewhere else. Indeed, LinkedIn, somewhere. If you're constantly feeling overwhelmed and exhausted, that's one thing I learned too. Like, even creatively, when I feel overwhelmed, when I feel exhausted, and just when I feel like I just don't have anything to give, or like I can't muster up something in my brain to produce, I'm like, okay, well maybe I need to maybe I need to just take a break and come back to it later. Maybe I just need to just quit this altogether because it's something that's colliding with. It's just something that's colliding with in my head, and that rest is needed. That rest is needed. Over committing. Yeah, over committing is one. That's something that I struggle with these past couple of months. Just it's easy to tell people not to say yes to everything, but when you're faced with it, it's different. Because sometimes, I'm gonna be honest, y'all, sometimes I've overcommitted because everything genuinely looked good. It aligned with what I wanted to do or where I was going. It looked good on paper. It looked good in my head. I thought it was good when I prayed about it. I thought it was this and this, but I overcommitted, and that is a good I had to like take a lesser degree and quit essentially a project that I had accepted to do for somebody. And because it got to the point where once I looked at it, I was like, I think I overcommitted, and I think I bit off too more than I could chew. But I'm gonna be honest, I got to the point where it was like I was able, and that's another thing, being able to effectively communicate when you're quitting. I said what I needed to say, and I did it to the scale that it needed to be done. But after that, I said, hey, I won't be able to do this. And I gracefully bowed out. You don't like when you quit, you don't have to be ugly about quitting, but just like especially in the area of overcommitting, you don't have to say yes to everything, because overcommitting can lead to burnout, and overcommitting it you will get exhausted. You will get exhausted, and that's where I felt like I felt like I was on the verge of exhaustion, because I need to do a better job of assessing the things I'm committed to and the things that even look good to be committed to, because that's detrimental in the long run when you don't ask yourself that, even like business wise and personally, like what am I committing to? Can I do this? Because I'm gonna be honest, sometimes I just go in, I impulsively go in, and I don't want to do a disservice to myself or the people that I'm working with. Let's talk about both of them. I don't want to do a disservice to me nor them by committing to something that I know will cause me to be resentful, or just something I can't give my full self to. But yeah, and I feel like we don't recognize burnout because we love that word grind, baby. Y'all be tearing grind down into the ground. Grind hard. Grind. I gotta stop doing that voice, but it's like that's the best voice that I can give for like the general population of people who say stuff. Grind hard, grind mentality. Grind, don't stop. The grind don't stop. Baby, the grind stopped for me at 8 p.m. I'm not doing no work after that. Because now I can't get up in the morning early to go to the gym. And if I don't go to the gym, y'all going to make me mad for the rest of the day. And I'm already trying to get all my protein in. Now I'm not eating all my food, and I'm even more upset. All because I'm over here trying to grind. I'm not talking about the nights where you got to stay up a little later. I'm talking about people just like, you got to grind. I'm not trying to grind myself in a premature grave. I'm trying to live the most sustainable, healthy life in every aspect that I can live. And that word is tearing us to smithereens. Grind. Baby, you need to rest. But yeah, I just encourage y'all to like create that space for growth. Quitting something, it is something that can hold you back and prevent you from just growing, period. And when you let go of what no longer serves you, you make room for things and people that can. It's kind of like pruning a tree, like getting rid of the dead branches so that the new can come in. And so I just want to encourage y'all, don't think of quitting as giving up, because it's not. It's just reallocating your focus. Yeah, that was good, Jada. Yeah, don't see quitting as what people make it seem. That's what people try to make it seem. And sometimes, a lot of people try to make things sound so, people try to make things sound more embellished than it actually is. Like if you tell somebody, oh, I quit that job. Well, why did you do that? You didn't have the wherewithal to withstand and to keep pushing on and not give up. First of all, I didn't go to school for that. Second of all, I have no interest in doing that. I quit, and now I'm somewhere that I actually want to be. See, people, and don't even get me into all that projecting. But yes, assess your commitment, consider the impact of it. Pray for guidance too. Because quitting, like, I feel like sometimes quitting can come with guilt a little bit, or I guess I can only speak for myself because, like, I get in my head sometimes with certain things, and I feel like instead of quitting, I could have powered through. But it's like I was powering through for so long, and it's like, how long am I going to keep that up? And so sometimes you just have, like I said, you just have to gracefully bow out, because quitting isn't always a sign of failure. That's it. Quitting doesn't mean you failed. It doesn't mean you gave up, and it does not, I'm going to say it one more time slowly. Quitting does not mean that you gave up, and quitting does not mean that you failed. You are reallocating your time and reprioritizing your time and your focus to the things that align with you and where you're going, to the things that don't compromise your mental health, and to the things that won't cause you to be on the verge of burnout every week. And honestly, sometimes quitting is the bravest choice you can make, especially for yourself. You have to prioritize you and take care of you at the end of the day. So yeah, assess the things that you're committed to, whether it's people, whether it's situations, whether it's predicaments that you're in. And yeah, sometimes just, you know how Nike say, just do it, just quit. You know what? No. That sounds a little careless. After assessing what you need to assess, know when you need to quit. That is what I'm getting at. I hope that didn't cut too deep, y'all. Because sometimes like topics like that cut deep for me, because I start to honestly think about what other people think of it, especially with like quitting, and just being in a space socially where we're encouraging everybody to go, and we don't really take the time to encourage people to slow down, to take a breath, to assess, and to quit some things. That way they can keep going and going and going. And so I just wanted to kind of bring that to light and bring that to our attention for this episode. And so do some assessing. If there are some things that you need to quit, communicate it. Be prayerful about it. And I'll be praying that y'all are able to maneuver through that and know that there's good that comes after that. And you'll be okay. I always tell y'all that you'll be okay, because I have to tell myself that, like, it will be okay. There's no reason to feel guilty. And the things that you're considering quitting but don't necessarily require you to quit, like what I mentioned earlier, like if it's just requiring you to be just a little more diligent and intentional because it's shaping you and molding you for things, push through those things. Know the things that you need to push through, and know the things that you need to quit. And if you're having a hard time discerning the two, be prayerful about it. And also, like, don't talk to everybody, but find a reliable person and a wise person that you know who can help you. Yes, you can do it. I'll be praying for y'all. Quit if you got to, push through if you got to, quit if you have to. Well, yeah, sometimes it's necessary. And like I said, quitting is not failure. It is not failure. You're not a failure for quitting. Don't attach that to yourself. Please don't. Please don't. Sometimes quitting is necessary so that you can be a better you, to make it to a better tomorrow. Boom. We're going to end it off like that. I love y'all, and I will see y'all in the next episode. Stay mindful. I'll see y'all in the next episode.